First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakwadash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone at time of this truth. Another week in, week out, doing the work as Yahushai has commanded. And first thing, straight to the point I wanted to go into was that whole thing, with Trump, Greenland, and if I remember correctly, Iran. Right, Trump, Greenland, Iran has been the latest of the talks. And when you go into, what prophecy is being fulfilled, it is Revelation, the 17th chapter. So we're going to be dealing with that today, breaking that down, and just going into what's happening in the world. And ultimately, this is what's happening in the world. We'll start it from here. Jeremiah 50. In Jeremiah chapter 50, Jeremiah chapter 51, and I'll start at verse 6. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto a recompense." Right? And when you go into, what is Babylon the Great that the scriptures talk about, it is talking about America. Okay? When you do the research, you do, the prophecies, it's talking about America. And one of the key reasons it's talking about America is because when you look at how the ancient Babylonian Empire fell, it was a surgical strike. It wasn't by complete fire. And when you read about the destruction of this Babylon, the daughter of Babylon in Revelation, it talks about it's going to be complete fire. Right? So it doesn't line up with ancient Babylon. But it says, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken over wine, therefore the nations are mad." Right? And when you go into, what the wine is symbolic for, it's symbolic for philosophy. Okay? The American philosophy, which is westernization, Americanization, do whatever you want to do. Now that's that wine that all nations have drunken of. Because all nations are being influenced by Babylon the Great. America is the country that dominates the world stage. And it says, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are bad." Right? Because they're realizing that wine, this philosophy from the West, is not conducive to growth. It doesn't lead to peace. It only leads to war. And you can see that by the amount of years that America has been at war. More than 80% of the years America has been a country have been at war. And that's not, a coincidence. The reason is because you got the Edomites in power, and when you go into the blessing of Esau, it was that he was going to live by the sword. So this lineage of people, that's all they know how to do is to live by the sword. They don't know peace. And that's why, we need a new rulership. We need a new ruler to govern this world. And that's going to be Yahushua, the divine kingdom, which we'll go into after this. But it says, "Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies." Right? So no matter what type of laws, legislations, policies, presidents they put in there, this place is not going to be healed. This place is not going to be great again. It's not going to go to the white supremacist days again. It's only going to go down. So that's, the way that we ultimately filter everything that's going in the world. We filter it through the prophecies. Because we know that if they come speaking good news, it's not going to transpire. Because the scriptures say the opposite. Right? When Trump came in when he came into office and he was talking about how, I'm going to flip this all around, I'm going to stop war in the Middle East real quick, we knew that was just a bunch of talk. That wasn't going to happen. And we knew that a destruction was going to come real quick. As it says, when they shall say peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction come upon them. And what ended up happening, ICE started rolling on you Negroes and Latinos a hardcore. So, it's the same thing over and over again. And right now, going into the latest news, Trump talking about how, we're going to take Greenland whether they like it or not. And we're going to do it either the easy way or the hard way. And these are the types of events that America is going to do that is going to lead us, is going to lead to all nations coming against this place, right? Unrighteous decrees, right? What happened in Venezuela, that was an unrighteous decree, and all nations were against that, specifically, the NATO and European Union nations. All of those